What if the initial supplement that millions of older people take isn't what your bones need most right now? Imagine this. You follow all the advice you were given, take calcium, and try to eat healthy, yet your hips feel weaker, your posture changes, your balance gets worse, and one silent fall changes everything. This is exactly why this subject is important. Bone loss frequently doesn't show any signs until it's too late, and by then the cost is not simply pain, but also loss of freedom. Most people don't hear this clearly enough. Taking more calcium isn't the only thing that matters for bone health. It's about whether your body can really use what you give it, whether the rest of your diet helps bones grow again, and whether your everyday routines are making bones stronger or weaker. And there's one little seed that should get a lot more attention in this talk than it does. Don't stop taking any calcium or osteoporosis medicine that your doctor has told you to take without talking to them first. This movie is not about putting your health at risk. It's about making a better plan for your bones. The Bone Health and Osteoporosis Foundation claims that osteoporosis will cause 1 in 2 women and up to 1 in 4 men over 50 to break a bone. The CDC reports that more than 1 in 4 older persons falls each year. If you don't pay attention to that, the risk is real. It's personal. Stay with me for a few minutes, and I'll show you why the seed is important, why calcium alone doesn't always work, and what your bones might really want. If you want to know more about senior health tips, healthy living for seniors, energy after 60, and the best habits for seniors at home, subscribe now. This channel is for adults who want expert-guided strategies that protect strength, balance, memory, and independence before problems become crises. You should be here if you're in your 60s, 70s, or older, or if you are aiding a parent who is. Each video is meant to help you find the little mistakes you do every day that slowly suck away your energy and replace them with easy things you can do to feel steadier, sharper, and more in control. So please subscribe, switch on notifications, and stay until the finish. The last part talks about the behavior that will determine whether this seed heals your bones or just goes through your body without being detected. A lot of individuals lose the benefit without even knowing it because of that one aspect. Let's get right to the point and answer the major question. The tiny seed I want you to think about is sesame seed, especially in a form that you can use all the time, such as whole sesame, ground sesame, or tahini with only a few other ingredients. Why sesame? This little seed has a lot of minerals that are good for bones, like calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, some zinc, healthy fats, and plant chemicals like sesamin. A tablespoon of whole dry sesame seeds has about 88 milligrams of calcium, as well as phosphorus and other nutrients that your bones need every day. That doesn't mean sesame is magic, and it definitely doesn't mean it can fix bones overnight. But it does indicate that this small item can be part of a smarter, food-first bone strategy, especially for older people who have only been educated to focus about one nutrient at a time. And here's why this is important. Harvard Health says that numerous nutrients, not only calcium, are needed to develop and keep bones strong. If that surprises you, take a moment to think about whether you've been trying to fix an issue with your whole body with only one drug. That's where the next error starts. The issue with the typical discourse is not that calcium lacks significance. That's because the conversation isn't finished. According to the Mayo Clinic, people over 51 require approximately 1,000 to 1,200 milligrams of calcium every day. However, getting too much calcium, especially from supplements, can cause problems like constipation and may make some people worry about kidney problems. Harvard also says that getting a lot of extra calcium may raise the risk of kidney stones in some people, although calcium from food works differently. So when consumers see the title, "Stop Taking Calcium," the appropriate medical translation is, stop thinking that calcium alone is your only way out. Stop thinking that more is always better. Don't think that taking a tablet can make up for poor absorption, insufficient vitamin D, not being active, excess salt, weak muscles, or being indoors a lot. Fear can be helpful here, because neglecting the wider picture might make you weaker for years without you even realizing it. In the next part, I'll explain why calcium alone typically doesn't work for older bones, even for those who think they're doing everything properly.
Absorption is the first reason why calcium alone generally doesn't work. Think about putting pricey gas in a car with a line that is blocked. The engine still sputters even though there is fuel. That's what happens when the body doesn't have the right conditions to absorb and use calcium well. One of the most important elements of the puzzle is vitamin D. Harvard Health says that the body can't use calcium from food very well if it doesn't have enough vitamin D. Mayo Clinic also says that vitamin D is important for calcium absorption and that magnesium helps move calcium to bones instead of just stopping the conversation at calcium. When someone claims, "I take calcium every day and still feel weak," the question is not only how much they take, the question is if their body is ready to use it. Take a moment to think about your own daily life. Are you getting enough safe sunlight? Testing your vitamin D levels is necessary, and eating foods that are high in magnesium and protein? Or do you think one supplement would do the trick? That question that makes you think is not small. It might explain why you haven't been happy with your outcomes. The second reason calcium alone doesn't work is because bones are living tissue, not jars for storing things. The body is always breaking down and rebuilding bone. Your muscles send signals, and hormones, minerals, and protein all play a role in that process. Harvard Health says that nutrition that builds bones includes more than just calcium. It also includes protein, magnesium, phosphorus, and potassium. Research evaluations also show that getting enough protein is good for your bones, especially if you also get enough calcium. To put it simply, your bones need things to build with, but they also need people to make them and instructions on how to do it. If you don't get enough protein, don't walk around much, and sit most of the day, your bones don't have as much reason to stay strong. This is why so many bone health plans don't work from the start. They neglect biology and focus on a tablet. If that seems familiar, stay with me. The third reason is where a lot of diets that look healthy nevertheless go awry. The final point is that modern habits can quietly undo everything you've done. If you eat a lot of salt, you might lose more calcium in your urine. When you don't do enough weight-bearing exercise, your bones don't get the mechanical signal they need to stay strong. Smoking speeds up the loss of bone. A lot of drinking can also cause this. And being inactive for a long time decreases not just bones, but also balance and reaction time, which makes falls more likely. The American Heart Association says you should do at least 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity and muscle strengthening activity at least 2 days a week. The Mayo Clinic also says that exercise, especially weight-bearing and resistance activities, can help slow down bone loss. This is important since the fracture crisis after 60 is never just about how dense the bones are on a scan. It's about having weaker bones, weaker muscles, and a larger probability of falling. So instead of saying, "I already take calcium," ask yourself this harder question. Am I also doing the things that tell my body to preserve bone? I will show you exactly where sesame seed fits into this wider picture in the following phase, and I won't try to make it sound like a miracle. This is the first checkpoint for keeping things. Take a break and give yourself a score from 1 to 5 in 3 areas: foods high in minerals, daily exercise, and balancing training. Don't answer for what you want to do, answer for the last 7 days. That brief test of honesty can show you more than a cupboard full of supplements ever could. If you get a low score in 2 or more categories, that's not bad news, it's your chance. The body can still respond to consistent signals later in life, and the next piece shows you how to start with just 1 spoonful, 1 meal, and 1 change in habit that can work in virtually any family. So why sesame seeds in a video about bones after the age of 60? This is because it is one of the few little foods that combines many bone-supporting nutrients into a small package. Sesame contains calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, iron, some zinc, healthful unsaturated fats, and lignans, including sesamin, which scientists have looked into for possible effects on bones. A peer-reviewed 2023 review in Food and Function found that sesame seeds may help protect bone health, especially after menopause, but this doesn't indicate they should be used instead of medical treatment. Another line of research suggests that sesamin may help osteoblasts, the cells that make bones, work better. Does that mean that a teaspoon of sesame can quickly rebuild bone density on its own? No, that would be advertising, not treatment. But does that suggest that sesame is a lot more intriguing than most people think when it's part of a larger regimen for bone health? Yes, for sure. And that difference is what keeps you from getting false hope while still providing you something beneficial. Older people sometimes forget about the practical benefits of sesame, which is that it is easy to use. If you have trouble swallowing nuts, don't feel like eating as much, don't have a lot of energy to cook, or are seeking to make seniors' lives healthier without making meals too complicated, sesame can easily fit into your day. Stir a spoonful of tahini into yogurt, cereal, or a smoothie. Sprinkle some ground sesame on beans, veggies, soups, or eggs. For lunch, a simple dressing made with tahini, lemon, garlic, and water. The power here is not excitement, it's consistency. Think about two persons. One person buys pricey vitamins and then forgets half of them. The other person eats a simple, mineral-rich food every day, walks regularly, exercises their legs twice a week, and has their vitamin D evaluated when needed. Which person do you believe is providing better signals to the bones that are becoming older month after month? That kind of question makes you think and alters your habits since it brings you back to biology instead than hype. Let me make this even more useful now. For many people, a good starting dosage is 1 to 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds or tahini added to meals instead of being eaten alone as a treatment. That quantity alone won't cover all your daily calcium needs, but it does help build the dietary pattern surrounding your bones. Many people find it easier to digest and use powdered sesame or tahini on a regular basis than whole seeds. If you're trying to cut back on sodium, get unsalted ones. If you're counting calories, keep in mind that sesame is full of nutrients, so the size of your portion matters. But don't let your fear of calories make you eat foods that aren't good for you. This is very important for those over 60 who want to keep their muscles and vitality. One of the quiet causes of weakness, tiredness, and frailty is not eating enough. And in a minute, I will show you the exact items that make sesame stronger instead of letting it work on its own. If you want more films about health tips for seniors, anti-aging routines for people over 60, and behaviors that really work to strengthen bones, leave a quick remark with the word bones. That little thing helps me figure out what works best for you. And think about this. If a tiny seed may silently make your diet better every day, what other small habit have you been ignoring that could help you stay independent 5 years from now? That idea is not merely to motivate you. It is the most important part of aging well. In the next step, we'll show you how to connect the seed to the partners your bones need.
This sentence should stick in your mind. Systems, not single ingredients, build bones. Sesame works best when it joins a group. The first teammate is protein. Bone is not just made of minerals, it also has a protein framework. Muscles protect bones by making them stronger, more stable, and faster to react. Research evaluations show that getting enough protein is good for your bones, especially if you also get enough calcium. That means that elderly people shouldn't forego protein at breakfast, live on tea and toast, or think that light eating means healthy eating. Imagine waking up every month feeling exhausted, shaky, and weaker, not because you're just getting older, but because your meals never offered your body enough raw material. That can happen slowly enough that most people get used to it. The solution is frequently surprisingly simple. Start with protein-rich foods and then add foods high in minerals, like sesame. Vitamin D is the second teammate. If you don't get enough vitamin D, your body won't absorb calcium as well, and the whole plan won't work as well. That doesn't mean that everyone should take a lot of vitamin D without thinking about it. The USPSTF has already said that older persons who live in the community should not use vitamin D and calcium supplements on a regular basis just to prevent fractures. This is a reminder that supplements are not magic pills. Individualized care is the better option. Talk about your risk, think about getting tested when it's right for you, and only use supplements in a focused fashion with the help of a specialist. A lot of folks get confused here, so let me make it easier. Vitamin D is still important for the health of bones. The warning is against thinking that everyone automatically benefits from taking supplements without considering the situation. Vitamin D does not matter is a quite different message. And if you've been putting all of your supplement advice in one basket, this small difference could save you money and trouble. The third buddy is magnesium and the balance of all minerals. Mayo Clinic says that magnesium helps move calcium to bones and away from soft tissues. Sesame seeds have magnesium in them, but they aren't the only source. This is where whole foods like beans, legumes, nuts, seeds, leafy greens, and others come in. This is one reason why older people can be underfed even when they eat enough calories. You can feel full and still not have enough fuel. If that sentence strikes a chord with you, take a moment to reflect about your pantry. Are the essentials in it good for your bones, or are they largely convenience meals that are easy to get today but will cost you later? Because the state of your kitchen shows the state of your habits, this is one of the most significant questions to think about in this movie. And habits, not intentions, are what will affect your future scan findings. Weight-bearing and resistance exercise is the fourth teammate. This is where everything comes to life. If you don't challenge your bones and muscles, you might eat well and still miss a big clue. Both the Mayo Clinic and the American Heart Association stress that regular exercise, including activities that build muscle, is important for staying healthy as we become older. Orthopedic advice also says that bones respond differently to loading in different places. This means that walking is good for some bones, while resistance work is good for others. Some combination of walking, sit-to-stands, stair work, if it's safe, resistance bands, light weights, and balancing practice is good for older people. The idea is not to work out like an athlete. The idea is to inform your skeleton, you still need me. Think about how your grandchildren would ask you to go to the park with them, climb stairs, or travel with them. It's not what you plan to do next month that will create your future. It's the habits you repeat this week. In the next section, I'll give you a simple daily schedule that ties everything together in a way that isn't too much to handle. This is the daily routine. Start your day with a breakfast high in protein and add sesame in a way that you will actually use it. It might be simple yogurt with tahini and berries, oatmeal with ground sesame and eggs on the side, or a smoothie made with Greek yogurt, fortified milk or soy milk, and a scoop of tahini. This is where seniors' morning routines can influence the whole day without anyone noticing. A better breakfast helps more than just help bones. It can help you have more energy after 60, making it easier to stay active and cut down on cravings later in the day. If you're in a hurry in the morning or don't feel like eating, make it simple, but don't miss the structure. Weak beginnings often lead to poor nutrition. If you're thinking, that sounds too small to matter, remember that bone loss happens when you don't get enough of something over and over again. Why shouldn't recovery start with small, repeated upgrades? Add movement by noon. If it's safe, go for a quick walk. If you can't walk for long, go for a few short walks. Do some strength training at home for 5 to 10 minutes. You can do chair squats, wall push-ups, step-ups with help, or resistance band rows. The American Heart Association says that seniors should do both aerobic and muscle-strengthening activities. These best habits for seniors at home are important because muscle is your body's natural shock absorber. Stronger legs, hips, and core can save you from falling, and fewer falls mean fewer broken bones. The CDC estimates that more than a quarter of older persons fall each year, and once you fall, your chances of falling again go up. That means movement isn't only for show, it keeps you safe. Be honest with yourself. Are you working out to seem active or to keep strong? Those are two very different ways of thinking, and only one keeps you free. When you eat lunch or supper, don't only think about one vitamin at a time. A plate with beans, fish, poultry, veggies, a food that has calcium in it, and sesame dusted or blended in is better than a random meal and a supplement. Another hidden reason why healthy eaters may not see progress is that high salt levels can cause calcium to be lost in urine. Mayo Clinic talks about how important it is to eat a balanced diet that supports bone health. Kidney stone advice also stresses being careful with supplements while still eating foods high in calcium. So the goal isn't more pills, the goal is to have a more stable diet. Over the course of 6 months, one road gives you unreliable supplements and easy meals, while the other gives you steady protein, improved minerals, regular walking, and strength training. Which road would you trust with the next 10 years of your life? That's the real point of decision. Let's now talk about the most deadly mistake. This is not a do-it-yourself diagnosis video if you already have osteoporosis, osteopenia,
a history of fractures, kidney stones, chronic renal disease, digestive problems that make it hard for your body to absorb nutrients, or if you are taking medications that impact your bones. This is a video on strategy. You still need to see your doctor. You might need to get a DEXA scan. You could require medicine that you can get with a prescription. You might need a vitamin D or calcium strategy that is made just for you. This is where fear should make you smarter, not make you worry. The error lies in either disregarding the issue or attempting to address a medical ailment solely through a superfood headline. Both are dangerous. The better route is to work with your doctor, ask wiser questions, change your daily behaviors, and use food to help with your treatment plan instead of replacing it. That way of thinking respects both science and common sense. This is another moment where you can check your memory. Stop and think about these 3 things. Am I depending too much on supplements and not enough on the way I eat every day? Am I providing my bones a reason to be strong by moving about and doing strength training? And am I taking balance and fall prevention as seriously as I am bone density? The fracture story beyond 60 isn't only about what's inside the bone, so those questions are important. It's also about whether the body stays straight. A modest change in the environment at home might be just as important as a modest change in the food. This leads to the bonus portion that most people miss.
Fall prevention is the habit that silently decides if stronger bones really protect you. According to the CDC, falls are the most common cause of injury for persons 65 and older. Each year, nearly 300,000 older adults are hospitalized because of hip fractures caused by falls. If your bone routine doesn't include balance, vision checks, safe shoes, cleaning up, bathroom supports, lighting, reviewing your medications, and building up your lower body strength, you're missing a big part of it. This is one of the most ignored anti-aging regimens for those over 60, since it doesn't sound glamorous, yet it protects freedom in the most direct way conceivable. Picture doing all the healthy things and then falling on a rug in a dark corridor. That's how quickly the story can change. And the worst part is that some of these injuries may have been avoided. Another advanced point is that getting calcium and minerals from meals is usually better for the body than using random supplements. Both Harvard and Mayo warn against taking too much calcium, especially for older persons, but they nevertheless stress how important it is to get enough calcium. That's why a food-first plan that includes foods high in calcium, protein, seeds, beans, greens, dairy or fortified alternatives, and medical advice is usually a better long-term solution than panic buying more bottles. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by health advice, keep this in mind. The most spectacular plan is not always the best one. You can do the plan again. And repeated impulses every day are what change bodies as they get older. Another thing that a lot of adults get wrong is that weakness is sometimes mistaken for aging when it is truly deconditioning. After 60, motivation isn't the only thing that gives you energy. It comes from having stronger muscles, eating better meals that keep your blood sugar steady, getting enough protein, moving around enough, and doing less things that cause inflammation. That's why the sesame seed is important for more than just bones. It can be the thing that makes someone change their whole morning routine, and that routine can lead to better walking, strength, posture, and confidence. So don't overlook behaviors that have meaning. One spoonful may not be strong enough on its own, but it can start a chain reaction of healthier choices. That thought may be the change in attitude you needed more than any supplement. So, here's the main point. This title does not mean that calcium is useless. Take it as a wake-up call. Don't act like calcium is the only thing that matters. Don't think that taking a medication will keep you safe. And don't wait for a scan, a stoop, or a fall to notify you that your behaviors weren't good enough. A tiny seed like sesame can definitely be part of a plan to support bones because it contains calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, healthy fats, and plant chemicals in a food you can eat every day. But the true breakthrough happens when that seed becomes part of a bigger system. This system includes getting adequate protein, being aware of vitamin D, eating minerals first,
strength training, walking, balancing exercises, and living in a place that decreases the danger of falling. That's how seniors can really live a healthy life. That's how health recommendations for seniors can help you have better mornings, steadier steps, and more confidence in saying yes to life. If this movie made you think differently about bone health, please like it, subscribe, and share it with a spouse, sibling, parent, or friend who still thinks that losing bones is a normal part of getting older. A lot of people go through it, but it doesn't mean you can't do anything about it. If you want to learn more about morning habits for seniors, how to have more energy after 60, how to live a healthy life as an older person, anti-aging routines for people over 60, and the best habits for seniors at home, watch the next video now. The next health breakthrough often starts with a simple habit you haven't been doing. Comment SEED if you're ready to attempt the Wiser Bone Support Regimen, and comment SCAN if you want to see a film in the future about when older folks should go to a doctor about testing for osteoporosis and the risk of fractures. I can also make this lengthier, up to 6,000 to 7,000 words, with greater emotional pacing and cliffhangers that will have you on the edge of your seat for a full 40-plus minute voiceover.